Our first look now inside the Mueller report, and so are many officials here in the White House who had not seen it before. What we're told is the reaction inside the White House is upbeat. Staffers that I've spoken to seem to be in a good mood today. The president offered his first reaction at an unrelated event earlier this morning here at the White House. Here's what he had to say.
I'm having a good day, too. It was called No Collusion, No Obstruction. This should never happen to another president again. This hoax.
The president expressing some frustration that the investigation happened in the first place, but happy with the results here today as outlined by the Attorney General and now in the Mueller report, which is available online. A couple of highlights to bring to you, Scott, as we go through it. One is this dramatic moment in the Oval Office that's related here in the Mueller report of the moment the president learned that a special counsel had been appointed. According to the contemporaneous notes that were being taken, Attorney General Sessions stepped out of the Oval Office to get the call from Rod Rosenstein telling him that had happened, came back in the room and informed the president. And according to the notes, the president slumped down in his chair, said, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. I am effed," he said, using the expletive there. So the president expressing real dismay and then immediately demanding the resignation of Attorney General Sessions, blaming him for the appointment of the special counsel in the wake of the president's firing of the FBI director. So that's one of the sorts of vignettes that you start to see coming out in this Mueller report. A couple of other highlights here to bring you. As we know, Mueller did not make a traditional prosecutorial judgment in terms of obstruction of justice, which is one of the key elements that a lot of people have been focused on here. Also, that the president asked White House counsel Don McGahn at the time to intervene with the Justice Department. The president also asked the White House counsel to intervene with the Justice Department. Did not. Ultimately, this investigation did not establish that the president asked intelligence leaders to interfere with the FBI probe. The investigators also viewed the president's written answers to be inadequate here, and ultimately they suggested that they didn't go forward with a subpoena to the president in terms of his testimony in person because they were running out of time, that it was a late stage in the investigation and negotiations had gone on for just about a year or more at that point. So ultimately, the president never did sit down with Robert Mueller's team here, Scott.
You know, there's so much interesting in this report, including things that we're learning for the first time, as you referenced the president's reaction on the appointment of the special counsel. Most interesting, of course, is what you played in the sound, too, of the president's reaction not exactly matching up with what was delivered in the Mueller report. And I read another section, and I'm quoting here. This is from Mr. Mueller. "If we had confidence after a thorough investigation of the facts that the president clearly did not commit obstruction of justice, we would so state. Based on the facts and the applicable legal standards, however, we are unable to reach that judgment."
Right.
Eamon, you're going to get down to what becomes behavior that maybe didn't reach the level of criminality, but was nonetheless improper on many levels.
Well, and what the special counsel does here is sort of straddle the question of whether, leaving aside whether it's improper, which is not for him to decide, whether it's illegal is for him to decide. And ultimately, there's evidence on both sides of that question, as Bill Barr put it. So the question then becomes, what do you do with that? The special counsel mentions Congress a number of times. And of course, Congress could look at this and determine, you know what, this may not be illegal, but it sure is terrible, and politically we think it should never happen, so we're going to move forward with impeachment. That's not what we're hearing up on Capitol Hill today from Democrats who are in control of the House of Representatives and certainly from Republicans who are in control of the Senate. So the expectation here is that this report is out there now for the world to see, and the president's conduct is out there for people to examine, and voters will make a determination in 2020, because it does not seem at this moment, as I stand here now, that impeachment is in the offing for this president.
Yeah, some of the actions laid out by the special counsel of the president's son, Don Jr., are going to be parsed many ways as well.